Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bear Experiment podcast. I'm your host, Monica Clavijo, where we dive deep into the stories of resilience, strength, and overcoming life's toughest challenges. Today, we're joined by Carol Kasprik, who's a remarkable woman whose life took an unexpected turn on September 2021 when she was diagnosed with a stage 4 lung cancer. Carol's story is one of transformation and endurance. A lifelong athlete, a marathon runner, and someone who embraced a high energy lifestyle. Her days were filled with early morning workouts, full time work in a television station, which is no easy task, and then an evening couple-mile run. But she began experiencing some hip pain and fatigue around July of 2021, which she initially brushed off as runner's injury. In today's episode, Carol takes us through her journey from the first signs that something wasn't right to the series of tests at the Mayo Clinic that confirmed the unimaginable diagnosis. She shares her insights on facing this life threatening moment, the strength she found within herself, and the ways her perspective on life has completely shifted. Join us as we listen to Carol's inspiring story of courage, resilience, hope, and faith. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to subscribe. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bear Experiment podcast. I'm your host, Monica Clavijo, and today I'm speaking with a dear friend of mine that I worked with at an ABC affiliate
Yeah.
in good old Miami, Florida, Carol Kasprik. And we haven't seen each other in a couple of years, but we've always maintained communication through the lovely social media.
Yep.
And that's when I learned of your new health journey that you've been dealing with now for some time. And
hmm
so thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I love to share kind of these stories. I know that you're still in it, you're still in the battle, you're looking good with everything. But it's definitely impactful, your story. So for a little bit of background, Carol, for as long as I can remember, has been like an avid athlete, right? Like you were waking up in the morning, you're working out
Yeah.
for 2, 3 hours, starting at 3 a.m. Then you're going to work, you're working full time for a television station, which is not an easy job to do.
No.
And then at night, you're going back and you're running 17 miles, because that's just, that's your downtime, right? Like,
Yeah.
let me go for a couple mile run. And I do
That's what we
remember,
do.
yeah, she was ripped, ripped, ripped. The girl had a six pack. She was toned. She was doing marathons every weekend. And you were a true inspiration. You were eating so healthy all the time. You weren't really a drinker. You weren't really putting toxins in your body. On the
Right.
contrary, you were doing everything that you're supposed to be doing for a healthier lifestyle.
You would think.
You would think. So then that is the big why. That is the big question. So why don't you share a little bit of your story starting what was it, July 2021?
Yep. So I was doing a run, like you said, running with the run group, and we were running the bridges that night, and I was very excited because I was getting faster. And after the run, I was very excited because I had a 7-minute mile. Yay, me. And I started to feel pain in my left hip. So I thought it was just from running.
Right, because that does
And
happen when you're running
yep,
a lot, you get all these
yeah.
injuries. Yeah.
Well, you think that oh, you must have ripped something or you tore something because you
Mhm.
ran too fast or you stride too fast or something like that. I didn't think anything of it at first. So I was just stretching and using the foam roller and sitting in Epsom salt baths and things like that. A month went by, it was still there. Went to the orthopedic. He did everything. This doctor was amazing. He did everything that he thought he could do, the x-rays and everything. And I don't see anything, Carol. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But the pain started to get worse and worse. And then finally I went to him, I guess it was like August, early September again. And I was actually in a wheelchair. I was to the point that now I couldn't even walk at all. That's how bad the pain was. I couldn't even get up the stairs in my house. I was sleeping on the couch and everything.
So
And Dr. Raymond,
within a month span of when you first started having these hips,
yep,
this hip,
pain.
pain, it just was continuing to debilitate and debilitate. And within a month's time, you were wheelchair bound practically, where
Yep.
you couldn't even go up and down the stairs.
Nope, I could not. I was going up the stairs, sitting on my rear, on my booty, climbing up, or my girlfriend would come over and she'd come and help me. I couldn't get in and out of the tub because I couldn't lift my legs. So I was actually sponge bathing myself. Um, so I went to him in the wheelchair and he tried one more thing. And then he's like, if this doesn't help, like within seconds, then I need to send you for an MRI stat because he didn't have a clue. So that night, that day, I went for
Did at any point during this conversation with the doctor, did the word come up?
nope,
Nothing. It wasn't even a thought.
no, because they were like, he's like, I don't get it. He didn't understand it because of how healthy I was. He goes, I'm not seeing anything. I don't see a tear. I don't see a fracture, nothing. So he didn't get it. And that's when he did the MRI stat that afternoon. So then we just came home because you have to wait for results, of course. So that evening, I got a phone call from him, and no doctor calls you late at night unless there's
Mm-mm.
something wrong.
Nope.
And he says, I'm sorry to have to call you, but I want to let you know that the MRI came. We saw something. It doesn't look, normal. Kind of, they don't try to use the word right away till they know for sure. He goes, but I set you up with Mayo Clinic at 8 a.m. on Monday. And normally you can't get into the Mayo Clinic at all because there's just no way. But because he was who he was and what he saw, he was able to get me in right away.
Thank God.
And there started the journey of you go there and this doctor sits you down and says, you know, it looks like you have cancer, but we're going to make sure and we're going to do testing, and of course we got to take a biopsy, but we got to do a PET scan of your whole body. So we're like, okay. So we didn't know what to think. It was like a gut punch to our stomach because just 2 weeks prior to that we had just laid to rest my husband's ex-wife. She passed away from cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So to be told you have cancer after you just put somebody to rest, and then have to call your kids and your stepkids, my kids, his kids, and tell them now your stepmother may have it was really hard.
Mhm.
So we did the PET scan and everything, and so we just sat and waited. And um you were just sitting here, um and the phone call comes, and you're told, hey, yeah, have you have a big mass on your lung and it spread to your hip. I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Because I've never had any symptoms. I mean, just the week before, I ran a 6-mile race, climbing ropes, jumping over fences, going in mud, um, jumping over walls, and doing all that stuff. Never had any trouble breathing. Still don't have trouble breathing, thank God. I never had one symptom at all within my lungs or anything at all. And the mass was a 9 centimeter tumor
Wow.
on my right lung, um, which had spread to my hip. So I have a bone lesion, a lesion on my bone on my
Right.
left hip that spread there. So that's then and where it all started. And I think we were in shock for a very long time. um, we called kids, of course, my mom, of course, and so we started down the road of treatments. Um, I had to do 15, 20 rounds of radiation on my hip. They said, yes, you'll be able to walk again. And yes, I am walking again, thank God, but not without pain. I am with pain 24/7. I
So
take
why
six.
is why is the radiation to the hip and not to the lung where it all
We
starts?
did do that too. So we couldn't do it at the same time. So we had to take care of one thing and then take care of another thing. So what they did was they did the biopsy to find out what kind of cancer or non-small lung cancer it is. And I don't know, there's so many different names of cancer. It's just mind-boggling. So they had to do a biopsy on my hip, and yes, I had to be awake for it. So while they're snipping away at this thing on my hip, I'm hearing them. And then they did a biopsy on my lung, which I had to be awake for. Um, and I'm sitting there watching them on the TV because they had to tell me when to breathe in and breathe out so they can cut part of the tumor so they can see what kind of cancer it was. So I'm in this room and the pathologists and everything are behind me, and they keep cutting and snipping and giving it to them. And they're saying, no, we need another piece. We're not able to see it. So they're going. So that was a process. And then after they did all that, that's when they were like, okay, we can try this trial period pill after the radiation. And I was able to walk and deal with my leg a little bit better. So the radiation helped my leg, and it kind of did its job in a sense to where they were comfortable enough to now, okay, let's work on her tumor in her lung. So there's this pill called Tagrisso, which they gave me, which is a trial period medicine.
That's the $1,000 a day pill.
Yes.
Insane.
So imagine, so now you're getting, and that's the other thing, you're getting all these bills and you're like, well, it's not like I went out and bought a car and decided not to pay for it. I didn't ask for cancer, but yet I got to pay for it. So the pill is $1,000 a day, one pill every morning at 8 a.m. Now there's side effects, and that's the other thing. So here's all your side effects. They tell you, you can lose your hair, this can happen, that can happen. I was coughing. The the coughing was so bad, like, so the disease, I guess, or whatever is breaking up, or it's just the disease in itself. So you're coughing, excuse me, it's going to be a little disgusting. You're coughing up gobs and gobs of, you don't even know what. There was so much blood coming out of my mouth from coughing that I called the doctor, I think 100 times. Is this normal? Is it no? Yes, it's the disease. Yes, it's disease. Every time I coughed, there was blood out of my mouth. If I was sneezing,
So when you started coughing once you started taking the medication, the pill, that's what
yes,
started forcing you to cough because you never had any symptoms prior to that with
nope,
the lung, right?
I didn't have anything. I think they thought I had pneumonia or
No
something.
short,
So
no shortness of breath,
nope,
nothing, nothing.
nope, I had nothing. I didn't even know I was sick. So here I was doing all those things. I was actually in the DECA World Championship, the first in my age group at that time, 50 something, first in the world, top in the world. And doing those contests and all those things. I had no idea, nothing at all. So I'm taking the Tagrisso and taking the Tagrisso, and the only side effect I had was I got all these bumps all over my face and body. So they were like, just use Aveeno because you can't use anything else. Make sure you eat. Make sure their biggest thing is eat. Eat ice cream, eat milkshakes, eat hamburgers, go to McDonald's because they need you to gain weight because you're going to lose weight because the medicine and stuff is going to make you sick. So they wanted you to eat all the stuff. And excuse me, so like I told him, I said, wait, I don't eat none of that. I haven't eaten a McDonald's burger or a Chips Ahoy or ice cream in so long. You're telling me it's okay to go and eat all of this stuff that everybody says is unhealthy for you.
That's
And
insane.
who does that? But the oncologist goes, I need you to gain weight. I was 100 pounds, 100 pounds. And
I saw that picture that you have on social media, and if it's okay with you, I'll share it also.
yep. And they
Just so
thought
that
I
it,
was,
yeah.
yeah. So to me, I thought, hey, I'm built and healthy. And apparently I was not healthy at all. So to the Tagrisso we did for 6 months. So you go every 12 weeks for a checkup for your PET scan. And he kept telling me, nope, it's not working. If there's an uptick, we're seeing an uptick, an uptick. It's not working. It's not, the tumor's not getting smaller. Something's not working. Your blood work is not good. So every time you go for testing, you're hoping that they give you good news or something. I stopped drinking coffee. I drink tea with just herbal teas. I drink so much tea, it would drive you absolutely out of your mind. Um, and so now we're at the point 6, 8 months down the road, he's like, we got to do chemo. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know what to expect. No, 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 you're good. Well, no, I'm sorry. Then they did the radiation. Oh, we think we can blast out the radiation on your lungs. So let's do your lung radiation. But you have to come 3 weeks in a row, like 3 weeks straight, every single day for 30 minutes a day. So that's a lot of radiation. And radiation causes fibrosis, which makes also your bones weak. So if somebody was to bump into me right now and I fell down,
You could
I
break
could
your
break
bone.
a bone
So
instant.
you're completely sick from all this
Yes.
poison that they're basically pumping into your system.
Yep.
Did you end up taking a leave of absence from work, or were you working throughout the entire
I
process?
worked for as long as I could, but as I started to get the radiation more, I couldn't even get out of bed. I mean, I wasn't even still walking at the time. I was so weak. I was still in a wheelchair, the pain in my leg. And so I had to have help. My mom came in from South Carolina.
Hmm.
She lived with us for 6 months, to help me, to bathe me, to feed me, to help my husband so he could still go to work. I had a friend, Robin, who would come over and she would help me get up the stairs and she would put me in the tub and she would bathe me and wash my hair, and take care of me. And I've always been the person who helps somebody. I never
Hmm.
wanted to be the burden to somebody else. And for my 80-year-old mother to come and take care of me, I was like, I'm supposed to be taking care of my mother, not my mother's supposed to be taking care of me. So when my mom came is when I started my chemo. So they put me on two chemo medicines. One of them is carboplatin, and the other one was pemetrexed. So the carboplatin, he goes, I have to put you on the highest dose. You can only do 4 rounds of this chemo. That's how strong this chemo is and how bad it is. And then the pemetrexed is the one that you will stay on forever because you are stage 4 lung cancer. You do not get remission. You will have to do chemo for the rest of your life. Okay, so we start the chemo. I, I have never felt so sick in my entire life. I told my husband I thought I was going to die. Those 4 of the carboplatin was the worst thing I have ever gone through. I couldn't eat. I couldn't get up. I couldn't talk on the phone. I couldn't do anything. I was crawled up in a little ball, like a womb inside your mom's womb, just sick. You can't do anything. It was horrible. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I can't imagine how difficult this must be.
And my poor husband. It's not just me going through it. It's watching him watch me suffer.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to do for me. My mom crying and praying, God, please help my daughter. So we got through it because the doctor was like, it's helping. It's working. You're doing great. And I'm like, well, I don't feel great. So when you're doing the treatments, you have to go every 3 weeks. So by the time you feel better, your treatment time is again. So you're never 100% feeling better. So I took off of work as long as I was allowed to.
Right.
And I'm not downing my company by far, but I had to go back to work. So I'm on FMLA forever. Um, so I started going back. It was like half a day. And then on my treatment days, there was just no way for 2 days. So I always try to make my treatment days to where it was close to the weekend so I didn't lose too much time from work. but it was still hard because you're still not well. You're still not feeling sick. You get chemo brain, which is fog. You always feel like you're in a fog. You wake up, you never know how you're going to feel, if you're going to cry that day all day long or if you're in a good mood. Um, if you're hungry, my mom, God bless her, she cooked for me every single day. She would wake me up every 4 hours. Here, take your medicine. Here, make sure you're drinking every single day for the 6 months. She would, and my husband, I don't even know. My husband, thank God for him, because I think most men would walk away and he did not.
No, he loves you, and you can see that. You can see that a mile away from him always.
I don't even, and he's got to go to work and think about it every day. Is my wife okay? Is she going to be okay? Is she not going to be okay? So it's not just me, it's both
No,
of us together.
right.
So I did the treatment. I did the pill first, then we did chemo. Then I sat down with my husband about a year after the chemo and I told him I don't want to do it anymore. I want to try to do it without any medicine. I don't want to be sick anymore. We couldn't go out to friends anymore. I lost a lot of friends along the way. So many people stopped talking to me, stopped visiting me. Um, you kind of find out a lot about people, and I don't blame them because they don't know what to say, because they look at you and you're like, well, you don't look sick. And you're right, I don't look sick. And I thank God I don't look sick. But inside me, I do. I'm fighting a disease off every single day. I'm fighting that this tumor doesn't wake up, that it stays asleep, that the pain in my leg goes away, that my husband says, hey, we're going to go on a date night. And I'm like, okay, I feel good tonight. Let's do it. So you don't look sick, but you're always fighting every day. And there's so many of us. It's not just me, everybody. And that's one thing I want anybody to know who listens. You're not alone. And you can always reach out, call me, find anybody in a group, because it helps so much. My husband set up they had a cancer conference here with the gentleman named Chris Wark. And I met him, and he had cancer, and he has survived his cancer with no treatments or anything by eating healthy, the herbal tea, the Essiac tea, salads, nuts, eat dirt. I was told a friend about a book and it's called Eat Dirt, and I'm reading it right now. And I drink mushroom coffee and I do all those things.
That's what I'm having right now, mushroom coffee.
Let
I
me
love
tell
it.
you, best decision you ever made. Ever since we've been doing those things, and I've stopped chemo for over a year now. Mother's Day coming will be 2 years, no chemo. My cancer tumor has shrunk, and I've been stable with no active activity from it in over a year. Nothing is growing. It's staying put. There's nothing, like, you can hardly see it in my leg. The lesion is there and it hurts because it's on the bone, but it's not active at all. So the cancer is not active, but it's there. So it's asleep, as they say. So you don't get to say remission, you get to say you're stable. Um,
So, just so that I understand, so then you're never fully on remission because it's
I don't,
when you have stage 4 lung cancer, you're never fully healed from it, from that
no,
particular cancer.
so once you get to stage 4 and it metastasizes, you can't go backwards. You don't get to go to stage 3, stage 2. Once you're at stage 4, you're at stage 4
Ah,
forever. So that's what he told me. He goes, you don't get remission. It's more along the lines of, and that's why I always put on my post, living with cancer, because I'm living with it every
yeah.
single day. Um, and I know a lot of people, and my doctors have told me they know a lot of people with this specific lung cancer. Some have lived 5 years, some have lived 30 years. It just depends on how it's a very slow progressing cancer. So thank God for that. And it's been 3 years already. So, and it'll be 2 years, no chemo. So we just, and now because I'm not doing chemo and I'm not sick, I've been going out, I've been doing things. I'm more functional at work. And I work 8:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. We go to run club. I've been going to the gym. I have a personal trainer again because I love my weights. I can't run. I use a walker and a cane. Um, and that's forever because I have to have the stability because I can't walk without it hurting. Um, I don't know. It there's so many different things. But like, we're going away next weekend to be able to see my grandkids. So I get to, and I can be around people without being afraid to be sick because I don't have the chemo in me that's making my immune system horrible.
Right, right, right. So, just given that, it's been a couple of years already, thank
Mhm.
goodness that everything is playing in your favor. I think a lot of it is your personal just faith and the energy that you have. I think that you've always been such a positive person, such a hardworking woman, and I think that your mind plays a big role in everything that happens to you,
Oh,
right?
it's a very big mental game. I will definitely, cancer it may be the disease, but the mental game that it plays in your head is horrible. And my fate, I gotta tell you, I truly believe God is healing me. I don't have no doubt in my mind that He's taking care of me.
I think that when anybody that ever has to encounter this level of pain, right, or fear,
Hmm.
that you may not be here tomorrow, which, right,
Every day.
everyone knows that. Listen, everybody's days are numbered, but like, they're giving you kind of like a
Yeah.
warning, right? And
Yep.
it's like you ask yourself, do I really want to know, or is it better if I just don't know and I just get hit by a car tomorrow? And I
Yeah.
think that that's where like that spiritualism and that faith really comes to play, and you just kind of
Hmm.
start viewing life a little differently, also, right?
Oh yeah.
So with the mental effects that it's had on you,
Hmm.
and having all of this time now, since it's been a few years where you're reflecting back to just like your life journey and maybe things that you did when you were younger, do you have you sat down and said, well, maybe, this is not necessarily a genetic thing, but when I was younger I would smoke cigarettes, or I tried drugs when I was, 20 years old. Maybe this is something that remained in
Yep.
my system, and now, even though I was so healthy for so many years? Or do you think that it was just like, this is your calling in life and this is just the way
I
that?
It's funny that you said it because my husband and I, we sit back every now and again and we'll sit back and we'll say, I always say to him, hey honey, do you think it was because I did the first bikini show and I ate too much chicken, or I didn't, I was, so maybe it started then when I was doing this, or do you think it's because of all the running we did and all the fumes that we breathe in from all the cars that are driving by? But just so everybody knows, and because I went to the cancer thing that we had, it was a whole conference for 3 days and we didn't miss any days because we wanted to learn so much. Cancer's not genetic. 2.5% of it is. All the rest is not.
It's
So it doesn't matter.
environmental. It's environmental.
It's all of what you put inside your body. Everybody walks around with 400 to 600 cancer cells in their body every day.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of it being awake. And I don't know what I did. I try to figure, I'm not gonna, I do exactly what you said. I try to figure it out. Was it because before I had my daughters and I was partying too much? Or is it because when I had my daughters, I'm being punished because I did go out instead of staying home with my daughters? Is it because I did this? Or, what did I do? Because they did tell me that this cancer has been there a long time. It's not something that just popped up and became stage 4. He said to me, and he's a very good doctor, Dr. Manichiki, and I love him. I will always trust every word he says to me. I've never doubted anything he's given me. He's never lied to me. He's been open to me. He goes, it's been there a long time. He goes, the mass is so big. And when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. He goes, it's been there a long time.
I mean, I've read about cases where a baby is born with a mass, right? And
Yep.
it could be a malignant mass, but it just hasn't fully developed.
Yep.
And, the kid falls off the countertop one day, hits that area on their body, and now all of a sudden now they have cancer, right?
Yep.
So you hear about cases like that, at least I have, where it's
Yeah.
just you're born with it, right? It's already
I,
in you.
yeah. I mean, and because I'm in the circle now, it makes me sad to see how many people, how many kids, the kids make me sad because not that I want to die because I don't. Trust me, I'm trying very hard to live as long as I can possibly live. But like I've told other people, I would prefer to pass away than watch that 2-year-old right now pass away. That 2-year-old hasn't even had life. I've had a great life. I have an amazing husband. I have the greatest friends. I've watched my grandkids, 10 grandkids grow up. I've seen my kids grow up. I've seen so much. I've done so much. I'm satisfied. If God wanted to take me, I would be okay with it. But he's not done with me yet because I'm still here and I'm okay with that. Every night I go to bed, I always think about it. And I don't know how many other people, I hope I'll wake up tomorrow because now I don't never know because I don't know what's going on inside. I get my PET scan every 12 weeks. So every 3 months I go in for 2 days in the hospital. The first day is the blood test, the PET scan and everything. And then the second day, I go and I see the doctor and I get all the results. And then I have to have, I do get one treatment for my bones every 12 weeks, the Exgivas shot. And that's to help keep my bones stronger because of all the radiation that I've had. So that's the only treatment I get. And it does make me sick, but I've learned to handle that one because I have to have it for my bones.
Right.
But every 12 weeks I have to go and sit there. So every 12 weeks it's called scan anxiety. Um, and you just hope that he says, "Hey, you're stable. See you in 12 weeks." And I told him, I said, "So the next time I see you is going to be right before my 60th birthday." I said, "So you have to tell me I'm before my 60th birthday, I'm still good so that I go into my 60th birthday celebrating life because I don't want you to tell me nothing else." So,
And you're
but
gonna get that. You're definitely gonna
so
get
we're
that.
hoping so. So, I mean, we think so too. Like I said, I look, I eat so much kale salad. I'm surprised I don't look like a kale. And I drink this SCAC, it's called SCAC tea for anybody that is dealing with cancer. I've heard it so many times. It is the best herbal tea. I buy it in the powder form. Um, and I put a scoop every single day in my tea and I drink it. My husband swears that's what's healing me.
There's it's a plant, right? My cousin suffered from osteosarcoma, is it? At the age of I think it was 15, 16 years old.
Oh,
From it's something that is very prominent in teenagers around that kind of around that age bracket, 12 to 18 years
mm-hmm.
old. She was diagnosed at the age of 15, major surgeries in her femur. They almost had to amputate her leg, but she
Oh,
did
I'm
have to go
sorry.
through extensive care. She's alive and thriving and had a
That's
baby, and
awesome.
she's doing better than anybody else right
Yeah,
now.
no, don't they all?
But I lived that with her for many, many, for the process of when she
Yeah.
was, dealing with the chemotherapy and the radiation and her surgeries, the mental state that she was dealing with. She had a boyfriend at 15 years old that broke up with her because, she's now bald and doesn't have
Yeah.
eyebrows or eyelashes. I was there with her, helping her in the middle of the night when she had to pee because she couldn't walk.
Mm-hmm.
But out of the entire group, which it was probably around 14 or 15 teenagers, she's the only one that's alive out of that group.
Wow.
Yeah. And
God
a
bless her.
smart girl, strong girl. Her name is Marisol, and her parents, amazing parents. They were doing anything that they were being told to do,
Mm-hmm.
to try to keep her alive at that point. It's
Yeah.
just like you're desperate. But where I'm going with this is there's this drink smelled like shit. It was called enemu anamu. I'm gonna find the exact name for it, and it's out of a plant, and you boil
Okay.
it, and
Yeah.
but this is supposed to be like the best thing for you to drink. Like
Look at,
I
I'll
remember her
try
teeth even
anything.
got yellow from just
Look,
drinking it so much, but it's
I,
so good for your system.
yeah, I'll do anything. Like I told somebody, if they told me to go outside and eat dirt off the floor right now, it would heal me. I would go outside and take the dirt and I would eat it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
I'm
gonna do
yeah.
anything.
I'm gonna find out. And I even spoke to a client in Miami, where they don't have cancer, but I think the father did at one point or their grandfather. And it came up in conversation that they make jugs of it at home and they just
Oh,
drink it.
wow.
And they'll drink it like for dinner, and that's just part of their vitamin complex that they take for their
Yeah.
bodies.
Mhm.
So I don't know. They swore by it. And like I told you,
Look,
out of the entire yeah.
I'd do anything because, and then look, I will try anything because being stuck in the house, I was stuck in the house for a good year and a half, almost 2 years, and thank God I had people, but will come and visit me. Eden, uh, I love Eden. Eden Kendall. She would come here and she would do diamond paintings with me for an hour, a couple times a week to spend time with me so I wouldn't be alone. Tom would post on Facebook, "Hey, Carol can really use some company." So
Mm,
sometimes people will come around and, and spend time with me, but a lot of people drop off and I understand that. Then I have, like today I was able to get out of the house because my friend Trish, she picked me up this morning and we went and we cheered for a friend that was running a race because I want to stay in the racing community. Um, we still do race. You could check my Facebook for pictures.
I will.
I was donated a chair, a race chair. Eden, as a matter of fact, put a post out there. Hey, let's get Carol back in the community and get her one of these race chairs. So by the end of the night, enough money was donated for me
That's
to get that
awesome.
chair. So my husband now, and he was my running coach when we met, he pushes me in the race chair. So, I mean, it's hard because it's like I want to get out of the chair and be the same person I used to be. Um, but I'm not. I am same inside, but I'm not with the, disease stuff. So I still try to do things. Like I said, I go to the gym and stuff, but so he pushes me in the race chair and we do 5Ks together that way. So instead of him being at the finish line before me now, he has to stay back with me. so so we're, that's what we do. So we still do the races with the race chair. We go out as much as we can. I don't know.
It's important that you have him. Obviously you're very blessed that, you have such an amazing husband
Oh
that
yeah.
was put in your life. But at the same time, when you're going through everything that you're going through, right? Like you just want to isolate. I think that's just, sometimes you're just like, I don't want to be around anybody. And I think that
Yeah.
sometimes is the worst thing that you can do because that's how you
Yep.
really fall into like this mental fuck where you're just like, I'm depressed now. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk to anybody. And that's only going to continue to deteriorate you.
Well, I got to a point to where they thought they were gonna have to put me in a hospital because I did get in the dark place and I told them I just forget it. I'm done. I don't even want to anymore.
You're
I
giving up.
don't.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm finna, I can't. Um, and like, and then there was like they gave me some medicine, and this medicine they gave me, we don't even know what it did to me. He called them and he goes, "Something's wrong with my wife. She's like she looks like a crack addict. That's how bad this medicine, the side effects were." He goes, "All she says is she's dying. She's going to die tonight. She's going to die tonight. She's sitting here giving away her jewelry." And he's like, "You got to fix my wife. Something's wrong." So he took me to the emergency room because I kept saying, "I'm going to die. I'm going to die." It was over that night. I'm not going to, this is it. Goodbye, honey. Hold my hand. Goodbye. And so imagine him having to deal with that,
Yeah, yeah, like,
you know,
obviously everybody is listening to you and you're the one that's dealing with the illness, but what about that person
yep, you're
that
the
loves you so
caretaker.
much? The caretaker is experiencing sometimes more than you are because they're
That's
just
right.
holding everything in because they have to stay strong for you.
Yep.
You
And
know,
he did the many times. I mean, the amounts of runs to the emergency room. I mean, he's at work and I'm like, "Honey, something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with me." And I wouldn't even know what was happening to me at that moment or what was going wrong with my body. And he's like, "Just dial 911." And, so now my neighbors, are seeing ambulances at my house all the time. And they're like, "What the hell's going on?" And even my neighbors, not many of them know. And the ones that have found out, they were like, "We can't believe it because you're the one who would have groups of people outside working out in front of your house during COVID, or you were always with your." So they even know me for working out and we're not even like hanging out kind of people. Um,
So you were
Yeah.
I learned after speaking with you with a colleague of mine at work whose ex-wife has cancer and they sent her to the Mayo Clinic, and he's the one that told me that it's in Jacksonville and you're in
Yes.
Jacksonville.
Yes.
Did you relocate to Jacksonville because of everything that you were dealing with, or were you already there?
Oh no, I've been here 6 years. Actually, when I worked for WPLG, I have worked there, then I left there, and then they Grand Media WPLG separated from Grand Media Group,
Mm-hmm.
remember?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I found out Grand Media Group was hiring again. So Jamie,
Yeah.
who is
You know,
now,
you know who's here too, right? Rosie.
yeah,
And
but
Jamie
Jamie,
and Jamie got her in here in Orlando
yeah,
with
so
Graham.
Jamie has her own station in Roanoke, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So she told Kim Parker that I would do the job. So Kim Parker said the only way, because you have to relocate up here. So I said, that's fine. We were looking to move anyway, my husband and I, and
Yeah.
make a change. So we relocated for the job. And it was worth it because, I wasn't working from home then, but it was worth it because, you get a boost in salary. They paid for me to move. It was a new change. And the only thing that was hard about it was my husband didn't get transferred for 10 months. So we had to live separated for 10 months.
Oh, you came
But I
first.
wasn't, I wasn't sick then, or actually I might have been sick then, but I didn't know it. Because, like
Okay.
they said, it's been in there for a long time. So we're trying to figure out, did I get it when I first moved here? Or did we have it? Did I have it when I was still down south and I just didn't know it? I have a feeling I had it when I was down south and I just didn't know it. I think when I had my stroke, if they would have done more testing, they would have found it. I'm thinking, but I don't know. I can't, I don't know, because I had a stroke 7 years ago. No, 8 or 9 years ago, I had a stroke. Um, and
And
I always
what was that about with the stroke? Was that
migraines.
migraines in correlation also with with you working out so much? Do you think maybe overdoing it in
Yep,
the gym is not a good thing? Anything in excess is not
yep.
good, right?
Actually,
So,
actually, I think you're right about that. I think God was, and that's what somebody told me. Sorry. I somebody told me I think God is trying to tell you it's time to slow down.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's like we form all of these addictions, right?
Yep.
Yeah, some are more positive than others, but anything in excess is just not going to be good. Our
Yeah.
body needs that downtime, that
Yeah.
relaxation.
And I think my friend was right. I think God is just like, hey, it's time to slow down and just think, like relax a little bit.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I'm going back to the gym now, but I'm not ever going to go in that
at the
excess that I
level.
did before.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm thankful to still be alive. I'm glad that I'm talking to you.
Yeah, thank you
Um,
so much. I think these
no
are so
worries.
important. Listen, it's what I always say. I did this because it was some sort of internal calling that I needed for myself.
Hmm.
This little podcast that I'm doing, it's out of a selfish perspective for myself because it's helping me feel better. I'm learning with others. I talk to
Hmm.
so many different people that are dealing with so much crap, just like I was, and it's like that whole pity party that we do in our heads.
Yeah.
Realize we're all the same. We just don't
Yeah.
talk to each other and we don't share each other's stories.
That's right.
And this is really important to do authentically. These health journeys, cancer, the mental strain that people that are going through it, the family members, nobody's talking to
Hmm.
the family members. They're just dealing with the
Yeah.
person that's got the cancer, you
Yeah.
know? So they're
Yeah,
it,
that's and yeah, it's like I have one friend. She always checks on my husband because I'm like, no, nobody ever asks you if you're okay. And he does see a mental counselor. He did take it up on himself to go talk to somebody. Um, I see a psychiatrist. He sees a psychiatrist. It's okay. You have to because you have to talk about it.
yep.
If you don't talk about it, um, you can't hold it in. It took us it took us 6 months before we talked to each other about it. I will say that. We didn't say anything to each other about it for at least 6 months.
It was like
We
a
didn't,
state, you were in a state of shock.
yeah, we didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
We kind of, and every now and again we still cry with each other. But we're good together and we're okay together. Like I'm not worried about him going out and cheating or I don't have like I don't have those things in my head. Like that kind of stuff, never. We are truly good as a couple together, and that's all I can care about.
So to end this amazing podcast, thank you
Thank you.
again
No, thank you.
for sharing your story. I'll be posting different clips
You're fine.
with different segments, just kind of letting everybody know what our conversation is about so that they can tune into the podcast. But to end the podcast, if you had to share any type of words of encouragement to anybody that's dealing with this personally, have dealt with it, where they don't see kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel, or a family member that's dealing with a loved one as a caretaker. Any words of encouragement that have helped you that you know can help them?
Like I said, you're not by your, they're not alone. They can find me on Facebook. They can talk to me. I've actually met a couple of people that way, that somebody has referred them to me because they found out that they had it and they wanted them to talk to me because of how far I've come, what I've done by not doing chemo and things like that. Be open and honest. Don't hide. Pray, 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 pray. Believe, trust, and know that God is there. It doesn't matter which religion. There's only one God. So
Mm-hmm.
whether it's Christian, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Pray and believe and trust, because you can be healed. I'm healed every day. Every morning I wake up, I am a cancer survivor. Even though I'm not in remission and I don't get it, I'm alive and I'm living with cancer and I'm surviving. And that's what my doctor told me. He goes, you are still a lung cancer survivor every day. And just in your caretaker, just let them know that you care about them and help them. Like I do, the even though I can't walk up the stairs to wash the laundry, I put the dishes away, or I try to do little things. I'll order groceries and I make sure I don't forget his blueberries, or silly things like that. And that's what he said to me yesterday. He was like, oh, you got me blueberries, perfect, that's just what I needed. And sometimes that's all you need to know that you helped him or did
absolutely.
something.
Yeah.
But you just know that you're not alone. Never, never, never alone. Don't ever think you're alone, because even if you think you are, God is right there with you and he's opening his arms for you, and you're not alone. And that's how I learned that I'm not alone, because even though I'm here 24/7 by myself in the house, I'm not by myself, because God is right here with me.
Well, amen to that. Amen to that, Carol. I'm gonna get you in contact with Danielle, the one that
Okay.
I was telling you earlier about that did the podcast also.
Okay.
So that I know that it metastasized to her lung as well, and like I said, she's doing amazing. And she went.
Maybe she can give me some tips.
It's in Arizona, and she's very
Yeah.
holistic. She's very clean, organic, and all that stuff. And she's always sharing
Okay.
different recipes and all that. So I'm gonna send you her contact information. I'll let her know that
Okay.
you're gonna be contacting you so that you guys can share your experience, and
Okay. That
hey,
sounds great.
right? Knowledge is
Thank.
power.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Carol. Well, thank you so much. I hope that you have a great rest of your Saturday. I'm heading out to
You too.
Miami to visit Mama.
Well, be safe
Uh,
driving.
yeah, girl. So we'll keep in touch, okay?
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care of yourself.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.